Hi, I'm Nandini. I recently worked on a business insights 360 project of Atlic Hardware Company. So basically, Atlic Hardware Company specialized in consumer electronics hardware selling company where it manufactures and sells like keyboards, peripherals, and etc. So Atlic Hardware Company's platform. So a platform is basically where a customers can approach the company and buy their product. It is the medium of company and the customer. So brick and mortars is the one where the physical stores customers can go and buy an e-commerce online store and three channels of Atlic Hardware Company. So Atlic Hardware sells through these three channels where it reaches to consumer and number one retailer Chroma Reliance where Atlic Hardware sells to retailer sells to the customer and direct through Atlic physical store or direct online sales of Atlic Hardware and distributor where Atlic Hardware sells to the distributor and distributor sells to retailer sells to customer. Then customer and markets of Atlic Hardware Company. So Atlic Hardware Company has 27 distinct markets and 75 distinct customers throughout the market. North America, Asia Pacific, European region, and Latin America are four different regions where I mentioned all the countries involved in those regions. Products. So these are the six types of products that Atlic Hardware sells. Notebook, accessories, peripherals, storage, desktop, and networking. And below that, subcategories of those products. So, what is the challenge that Atlic Hardware Company is currently facing? Number one, there is a sharp decline in sales in the Latin American market where it incurred huge loss. And number two, their primary competitor has been rapidly gaining market share where Atlic Hardware is going behind. So, we have to find, so we have now three objectives. Number one, we have to find the consumption patterns of the customers and how they can improve the sales and revenue. And number two, to provide transparency in the performance metrics and to make data-driven decision making for the stakeholder. And number three, we have to create an actionable insights where it can boost Atlic Hardware companies market to achieve 10% increase in profit. So in this dashboard, I created finance view, sales view, marketing view, supply chain view, and executive view. So we can see one by one. So this is the dashboard that I created. Let us see finance view first. So finance view is basically helps us to see the actual financial health of the particular company. So net sales benchmark that we created is 823.85 million, but we exceeded that. Sorry. So we exceeded the benchmark. So here it is in billion. I'm sorry for that. And gross margin, we also exceeded in gross margin where the benchmark we made it 36.49%, but the actual benchmark is 38. So actual gross margin is 38.1%. But we incurred minus 13.98% of loss in net profit. How that is occurred? So here we can see that in gross sales, the benchmark is 535, but the actual gross sales is 1128. So we almost incurred to 10% of profit in net sales. But while saying the net profit, we incurred a loss where the benchmark of loss we expected is minus 0.85, but the actual net profit is minus 5.78. So the reason behind is operational expenses. So we can see that here. The benchmark we created for operational expenses minus 101.71, but the actual operational expenses minus 253.57, which is almost 249% of increase in operational expenses that incurred a huge net profit loss. So here you can see the clear visual. So this darker shade of benchmark is actual operational expenses that we expected, but this lighter shade is clearly shows the operational expenses where it exceeded more, particularly in December 20. Then top products and customers by net sales. European Union is the top product where it incurred profit and loss of 200.77 million. And Latin America is the least market where it incurred only 3.17 million. So we see operational expense in Latin America. So you can see that minus 246 percentage. Oh, sorry. Yeah, segment. Desktop is incurred a huge profit, and networking and storage is incurred some less profit only. So we can focus on other things to improve more promotions and profit. So let us look into sales view. So sales view helps us to understand customers better, where we can compare customers' performance, sales by customer. So gross margin percentage is particularly high for uh, customers like Zone, Sourforce, Info Stores, Insight, and it incurred some less gross margin percentage in Bidex, where it only 26.4%, and Vijay Sales, where it incurred only 29.0% of gross margin. Sales by market and region. So here we can see that India and USA is in top of gross margin and net sales incurred, while the lowest gross margin and net sales is Latin America, where the orange color indicates Latin America. It is very less net sales and gross margin comparatively, and the more markets are from APAC and European Union, this blue color, Asia Pacific region and European Union markets are more for Atlic Hardware Company, and sales by product. So gross margin product is almost equal for all the products, where particularly storage products, it incur more gross margin. And here we in this chart we can see that pre-invoice deduction and post-invoice deduction is up almost 50% to make a 50% of net sales, which is very high comparatively to other markets. Pre-invoice deduction and post-invoice deduction needs to be uh, given less to improve the net sales. At the same time, here the COGS and gross margin. The cost of goods sold is higher than gross margin. So obviously the reason for net profit is low is COGS because of COGS. So we have to reduce the COGS to improve the gross margin. Next, we can see marketing view. So marketing view is helps us to understand which product hinders more growth and which product hinders less growth. So we can make our planning to sell them accordingly. So here you can see net profit is very less for desktop and networking. So the top product in gross margin and net sales is AQ BZAC LN, and the least and AG Trigger, AG Qwerty, and the least products are AG Leon, AG Lion, AQ Pendrive, and so on. So here we can see that the more bluer is network and storage devices and peripherals and accessories devices incurred huge loss or maybe incurred a very less sales by region. So net profit is more in APAC, Asia Pacific region, and North America and European Union, and Latin America incurred very less gross margin. So sales by product. So here the same chart shows the COGS is more than gross margin, so we have to reduce the COGS. And to increase the net profit, we have to reduce the operational expenses to hinder the gross margin higher level. And supply chain view. Supply chain view is basically for helps us helps the Atlic hardware to forecast better and produce better to the market. So forecast accuracy goal is 74, but the actual is 80.6%, which is the good to Atlic hardware company. And net error is goal 491, but net error incurred 751. Then key metrics by customer. Here the EI means excess inventory and OOS means out of stock product. So we can see that more products are in out of stock and there are equally more products in excess inventory. So forecast accuracy is almost for everything 40%, 50%. Radio popular includes 60%. So we have to hit 100%, maybe 80% and above. to meet the good target. So here in this chart, we can see net error is continuously being almost the same and higher at some month, and forecast accuracy percentage is same throughout the year, which means yeah. So net error is at peak and at low at sometimes. So key metrics by product. Desktop, network, and storage are in excess inventory. Accessories, notebook, peripherals are out of stock. So this visual is actually helps us to know what product to produce more and what product to produce less to gain some profit around it. And let us look into executive view. Executive view is culmination of all other view to make a strategic decision. It is especially for stakeholders involving in decision making to Atlic Hardware Company. So we can see here that net sales benchmark is 268 million, but the actual is 823 million, which is exponentially good for the company. And focus accuracy is 74, but we hit 80.6%, and it's something super good. But while seeing net profit, the benchmark is minus 0.85, but the actual net profit is minus 6.63. So the net profit needs to be increased. For that, we can make suggestions at the end. And so revenue by division. This is peripherals and accessories, actually selling more than PC and network and storage products. And this is channels. Distributor is incurring less sales while comparing to retailer and director. So retail sales is higher for Atlic Hardware Company. So they can focus on improving distributor and direct, or they can concentrate on retailer more to improve their sales through retailer even more. So yearly trend by revenue, gross margin percentage, and net profit percentage. So the net sales is continuously growing, which is a good sign for the company. And Atlic share in the market is faced some loss in 2022 currently. So minus 13.98% of net profit occur. Market share trend, where the date, Innovo are in top and Atlic is in bottom, but in a healthy way, it increased their sales. Top 5 customers by revenue, Amazon, Atlic exclusive, top 5 products by revenue, AQ, BZ, LN, AQ, ZenY. So we can try to focus more about these products to improve their quality and improve their inventory. So this is a small info. All the system data is refreshed every month on 6th. So system data such as forecast, actual, statistical forecast are received from global database. And non-system data such as operational expenses, target and market share are refreshed on a request. So this is the extra visual that I created for the better understanding for Atlic Hardware. So these are the top 5 products based on gross margin growth, and these are the bottom 5 products of gross margin growth. So we can try to focus more about these bottom 5 products to improve their quality, improve their needs from the customers, or we can try to delete these sales to incur more profit through other products. So these are the dashboard that I created. So in my opinion, the insights that I made was we should focus on cutting the cost of more operational expenses and try to incur more gross margin by that. And second, we have to forecast accurately to reduce the excess inventory, and we have to produce more out of the stock product to meet the target, to meet the demand from the customer. And number three, high margin product promotion needed. For example, these gross margin growth. So these 5 products needed some extra care uh, to drive a sustainable growth for the company. So thank you. Let me know your comments in the comment section. And this is my first ever presentation. I hope you like it. Thank you.